everyone's favorite time of year when the spirits come out to play, scaring the little children and giving old people the willies. That's right, it's Halloween.
Castleween for the Game Boy Advance is a side-scrolling platformer released in 2002 by MaD Edition. The story of the game goes a little like this. Alicia and Greg set off with their friends one Halloween night to look for a house in the forest where they could stock up on goodies. Upon reaching the house, Greg and Alicia's friends are turned to stone by a boogeyman. To save their friends, the two heroes must enter the world of the dead in order to find their friends and set them free. They need to make it through cemeteries, haunted houses, and sinister laboratories. Only one person at a time is allowed to enter the world of the dead, so Alicia and Greg must take turns in order to make their way through the danger that awaits them. Friends like the Goblin and Jack-o'-lantern will teach them magic tricks that will help them overcome some obstacles along the way, and they must find the mad scientist's laboratory to get their friends home safe and sound. So you get to play as two characters here, both Alicia and Greg. Alicia is a witch and can use her hat to attack enemies close by. She can also power up the hat by collecting magic stars throughout the levels, which will allow her to throw the hat, attacking enemies from a distance. Alicia can also float down from high platforms by holding the jump button, meaning she won't take any damage from large falls. Greg is dressed as a devil and uses his pitchfork to attack. When he's collected the magic stars, he can perform a diving flame attack that will damage enemies all around him. Most usefully though is Greg's ability to double jump, letting him get to access places that Alicia can't get to. Unfortunately, you can't change characters on the fly, as only one of the kids can enter the dead realm at a time. So you have to meet the other character at various points in each of the levels, at which point you can switch. The level design is actually pretty good though, and you don't always have to switch in order to finish the level. However, it is nice to mix it up and play as both of the characters from time to time. But it does mean that if you have a favourite, that you're not forced to switch between them. As you are traversing the levels, there are some nice platforming sections which do get quite tough, but they're never too annoying, and you'll find ghosts along the way which will guide you to secret areas where there are power-ups, or sweet, sweet Halloween candy, because of course, if your friends have been turned into stone by a boogeyman, you're going to want to make sure you have some Haribo to give them when they are turned back to humans. You do also get to battle a nice selection of enemies, including ghosts, witches, demons, bats, and of course pumpkin-headed boogeymen. But watch out for falling scenery. That seems to be more of a danger than any of these bastard grandfather clocks. As previously mentioned, there are magic stars to collect in the levels, which will power up your special attack. These work similarly to the rings in Sonic the Hedgehog games, whereas if you have some stars and you take a hit, you'll lose them, meaning that you won't have your special powers anymore. And if you take another hit without collecting some more, you'll lose a life. It does make the game pretty challenging. The game itself is surprisingly fun. The graphics are bright and colourful, and you'll visit a good amount of spooky locales. The digitised graphics don't look as bad as they do in a lot of games on the Game Boy Advance, and the animation here is pretty pleasing. The game also does control very well, so you don't ever really feel like there's any cheap deaths. All in all, this is a fun game for the handheld system that isn't going to break any records, but certainly won't leave a sour apple taste in your mouth on Halloween.